Travelling to Afar villages in the north of the region, far away from Samara, the regional capital, presents a tough challenge. There is a rugged topography and high temperatures. The tracks used are dried up riverbeds, making for a hard trip.
As everyone knows, the people in the region are nomadic and depend for their survival or moving continuously from one place to another. This is a region with a vast surface area and rugged topography, which makes transport and communication difficult. This has made the work of the region's HIV/AIDS Prevention and Control Office in raising awareness really demanding. Here in Barhele and Asale Dabi area, for example, the rate of HIV/AIDS spread is higher than other areas, as these places are major mineral salt markets. In general, due to the geographical and socio-economic activities in the region, the office has been facing serious problems in combating the epidemic.
The office has managed to carry out its mission here in the world's hottest and lowest place, the Dalal Depression. Workers who are engaged in the extraction of mineral salt in the area have been provided with awareness education on HIV/AIDS. To get the message to the Afar pastoralists who move place to place in search of animal fodder and water, appropriate information is provided through mini media outlets at the various markets where the nomads gather. This is an opportunity to provide them awareness education through captivating visual materials. Visual messages reflected on posters are simple and not easily forgotten. Traveling back to their villages, these pastoralists pass on what they've learned and observed to everyone they meet along their way. Dagu is a traditional method of information exchange among the Afars, for whom it is a cultural obligation to provide and receive the latest information. News of anything which happens anywhere is rapidly and accurately passed on in every direction through this traditional method of information exchange. Each Afar living at Deho village has been provided with a new razor blade with the aim of making them aware of the fact that sharing a contaminated blade or other sharp materials is one way HIV is transmitted. When the documentary film production team reached a village located 300 kilometers away 2 days later, it was learnt that the residents had already heard about the issue of the blade through Dagu. HIV programs transmitted in Afar language via national and regional radio stations play a pivotal role in building awareness by consolidating and analysing information gathered through Dagu. The region's HIV Prevention and Control Office has enabled many pastoralists to get timely information by providing each of them with a radio. Along with the educational messages, community dialogues conducted on conditions of HIV infection in relation to people's lifestyles and experiences is another way to get their attention. Born into Afar society, one of the employees of the HIV Prevention and Control Office passed through the usual Afar cultural and religious practices. She explains that some community members opposed her when she spoke out against traditional female genital mutilation, which she had undergone.
When you say a certain traditional practice is harmful, some people think that you are going against religion. As an Afar woman, I usually face opposition when I teach people not to practice the widely condemned female genital mutilation, which has various harmful side effects. I will never forget an incident I encountered at Gawani town while teaching on this topic. A man asked me whether I am Afar or not. When he realized that I was an Afar, he asked me why I wanted to spoil the local culture. He went on to explain the problems that he believed would happen to a woman who remained uncircumcised. Though his words were painful to me, I dealt with him patiently and explained and recounted to him my personal experience of the issue. Eventually, the man apologized to me after he had understood that female genital mutilation causes terrible pains during delivery and a whole range of other related problems.
These kind of educational dialogues are acceptable for the very reason that they reflect reality and experiences. Beautifying themselves by mutilating their faces, Dalol women consider themselves as beautiful as those they call Habasha, the highland women who wear golden jewelry. These women strongly believe that the beauty they get by mutilating their faces has an everlasting value like gold. Thus, they are offended by the rejection of traditional practices, which they see as related to their religion. This adolescent Medina declares that she will get her face mutilated just like her mother, but she is aware of the precautions she has to take. The HIV preventive and control activity being undertaken in the region has built up people's awareness. A number of Afar pastoralists nowadays have begun taking precautionary measures against some traditional practices that cause HIV transmission. Circumcision or female genital mutilation that makes a woman sexually inactive so she remains loyal to her husband is now being rejected in some villages. In most villages, precautionary measures are being taken to avoid HIV transmission caused by blood contact during circumcision. The declining number of children exposed to mass ovular cutting performed by contaminated instruments and the growing number of people taking voluntary HIV tests are all indications of the behavioral changes brought about through outreach programs.
The anti-HIV/AIDS activities carried out in the last 5 years have focused on awareness raising. This helped the community to realize that the virus is transmitted by blood contact and understand ways of prevention. These developments clearly indicate the prevalence of behavioral change among members of the society. During the community dialogues we have repeatedly held in our areas, we have passed decisions against harmful traditional practices such as genital cutting, bad habits like chewing chat, a stimulant, green leaf and smoking shisha, a flavored and scented tobacco, all of which contribute to the spread of the virus